This is not the kind of Sister Wives update fans are ever ready for, because buried beneath all the shouting matches, the divorces, the finger-pointing, and the endless Cody Brown drama, there's a quiet, heartbreaking reality unfolding off camera, and almost no one is talking about it. Maddie Brown, daughter of Cody and Chanel, just shared an update about her husband Caleb that stopped fans cold. And once you really understand what's happening here, it changes how you see this family forever. Here's the part that hit hardest. Caleb's health isn't just declining, it's reaching a point where an organ transplant may soon be the only option, and suddenly, all the petty drama fades into the background because this is real life. This is survival. Maddie has always been one of the Brown kids who stepped away quietly. No screaming confessionals, no public feuds, no constant shade on social media. She built a life with Caleb, focused on raising their kids, fixing up their home, and staying out of the chaos that swallowed her parents' marriages whole. But now, she's being forced to open a door fans didn't even realize was there. Through Instagram stories, posts that disappear quickly. Almost like whispers, Maddie revealed that Caleb has been battling chronic kidney disease. And not in some distant, manageable way. His kidneys are currently functioning at just 24%. Let that sink in, because according to Maddie, once that number drops to 20%, they're no longer talking about monitoring or treatment. They're talking about a transplant. And here's what makes this even harder to hear. For Caleb to qualify for the donor list, his condition actually has to get worse. Think about that. You don't get help until things are more dangerous, until the risk is higher, until the line between stability and crisis gets thinner. And that's when fans started asking a question no one on TLC seems willing to answer. Why don't we hear about this on the show? Why is something this serious, something that could literally determine whether a father of 4 lives or dies, barely acknowledged? While hours are spent rehashing arguments we've already seen 100 times? Because here's what no one is talking about. This isn't just sad, it's revealing, and in the next part, we're going to talk about how bad things really got for Caleb earlier this year, why Maddie made a life-altering decision because of his illness, and how fans are rallying around her in a way the show never has. This moment changed everything, because what Maddie shared in those disappearing Instagram stories wasn't just an update, it was a quiet admission of how close things have already come to going terribly wrong. According to Maddie, February and March were especially frightening months for Caleb. Not stressful, not concerning, dicey, that was her word. And when someone who has lived with this reality every single day chooses that word, it tells you everything you need to know. During that time, Caleb's health reportedly took a noticeable downturn. His kidney function wasn't stable, and the fear wasn't hypothetical anymore. It was real, immediate, and hanging over their household, the kind of fear you don't broadcast, the kind you carry silently while trying to keep life normal for your children. And this is the part that truly broke fans' hearts. Maddie revealed that Caleb's condition is the reason they've decided not to have more children. Let that sink in for a moment. This isn't about preference. It's not about timing. It's about survival. Caleb's chronic kidney disease is life-threatening, and pregnancy brings added strain, stress, and uncertainty. So a decision that should be filled with hope and choice became one rooted in fear and responsibility. That's a heavy burden for any couple, especially for one that grew up in a family culture where having more children was once seen as almost expected. And yet, none of this reality has ever been centered on Sister Wives. While the show spiraled into endless arguments between Cody and his wives, the adult children quietly stepped back, Maddie included. And now, looking at this situation, it's impossible not to ask, did they step back to protect their peace? Or did they step back because real-life pain doesn't fit neatly into reality TV storylines? Fans have been saying it for years, and Maddie's situation only reinforces it. Many viewers would rather watch the adult children navigate real marriages, real health crises, real parenting struggles, then watch recycled conflicts from relationships that already ended, because this is real. And when news of Caleb potentially needing an organ transplant surfaced, fans immediately flooded Maddie's comments with prayers, support, and questions. People weren't gossiping. They were genuinely concerned. They wanted to know how serious it was. They wanted to know if he was already on a donor list. They wanted to know how they could help. But here's the most painful part of all. As of now, Maddie hasn't confirmed whether Caleb is officially on the donor list yet, and that uncertainty is crushing because it means they're still waiting, watching, hoping his kidneys don't get worse, while also knowing they may have. 2. And that emotional contradiction? It's brutal. In the next part, we're going to break down what chronic kidney disease actually means, why there's no guarantee things won't progress, and why this update hit fans so hard, especially in contrast to the silence from the Brown family and the show itself, because once you understand the stakes, everything looks different. This is where the reality of Caleb's condition becomes impossible to ignore. Chronic kidney disease isn't something you simply bounce back from. According to medical experts, treatments can sometimes slow the damage, but there is no guaranteed way to stop the progression altogether. For some patients, the disease advances quietly, steadily, until the kidneys reach complete failure, and when that happens, there are only 2 options left: dialysis or a transplant. Without one of those, the outcome can be fatal. That's the reality Maddie and Caleb are living with every single day. Caleb's kidneys are already functioning at just 24%. That's not a distant concern. That's dangerously close to the threshold where a transplant becomes unavoidable. And yet, to even qualify for the donor list, his condition has to worsen further. That's the cruel irony here. You don't get the lifeline until the situation becomes even more life-threatening, and still, Maddie has handled this with remarkable grace. She hasn't exploited it for attention. She hasn't turned it into a storyline. She shared just enough to explain why life decisions have changed, and then she's gone quiet again, and fans noticed. When word spread through podcasts, reposted screenshots, and fan discussions, the reaction wasn't drama. It was compassion. Viewers came together to send prayers, encouragement, and love. People who have never met Maddie or Caleb felt the weight of this update because it reminded them of something deeper. These are real people, not characters, not plot devices, not background noise in someone else's storyline. And that's when fans realize the truth, the most meaningful. Emotional stories in the Sister Wives universe aren't happening on TLC anymore. They're happening off camera, in hospital visits, in late-night conversations, in decisions about family size, and in the terrifying wait for a phone call that could change everything. As of now, Maddie hasn't shared whether Caleb is officially on the donor list or how close they are to that next step. And honestly, that's her right. This isn't owed to the audience, but the update she did share was enough to stop people in their tracks, because behind all the chaos the Brown family has become known for, there is still love, loyalty, and real struggle. And right now, Maddie and Caleb could use every ounce of support. So if you didn't know how serious this was before, now you do. And if you're the kind of person who believes in prayers, good thoughts, or positive energy, this is the moment to send them. Drop your well wishes in the comments. Let Maddie know she's not alone. And if you want to stay updated as more information comes out, make sure you're subscribed, because when there are real developments, we'll talk about them here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video or down in the comments.